Commissioners. We welcome each one of you here today and those who are watching on our live feed or YouTube channel. We're glad you're with us also. The first item on the agenda, we typically start our meetings with an invocation and a pledge. I've asked Commissioner Stevens to lead us in the invocation, and our Pledge of Allegiance will be led by our Veterans Advisory Board. If you would please stand with me if you choose to do so as we begin.
Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you so much for another beautiful day that you've given us together in the beautiful county of Johnston County, North Carolina. We just ask that you be with us as we listen to the citizens, Lord. We make decisions and we help move Johnston County towards with your plan in mind. And it's in your name we pray. Amen.
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 Good morning, Commissioners.
Good morning.
I'm Kevin Wilson, Chairman of the Veterans Advisory Board. I have Colonel Rudy Baker, who I'm sure you're quite familiar with. Julie Nix and Robert Boyette, both from the Veterans Service Office. And our Commissioner.
We welcome you, and we're thankful for your service, and thank you for being here this morning.
Thank you, sir. Detail, Kent Hutt. Present arms. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Ready?
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Please be seated. As Commissioner Godwin comes back to his seat, the first item on the agenda is the approval and discussion of the agenda. You've had an opportunity to look over that. Any changes that need to be made, or I'll entertain a motion to approve.
Mr. Chairman, I move the agenda be approved as presented.
All right, have a motion. Do I hear a second?
Second.
A motion is second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, let it be known by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? All right, item number 2 is consent agenda. It consists of A through D. There's 4 items on the consent agenda. There's the Department of Transportation additions to the system. There's budget revisions for the Health Department and the Sheriff's Department. There are appointments to the Firefighters Relief Fund Board of Trustees for elevation and the Juvenile Crime Prevention Council. There's also the Nursing Home and Home Community Advisory Board appointments, and then tax releases and refunds for June 16th through July 15th of 2026. Do I hear a motion to approve or modify?
I make a motion to approve.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion?
Mr. Chairman, just a point of clarification.
Yes, sir.
The appointments we have on here, we've got far more vacancies than we've got applicants. That's, why they're in the consent agenda.
Yes, sir. All right. Yes. Duly noted. And any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Consent agenda is approved. Item number 3 is public comment. Any audience members that wish to address the board on an item not already on the agenda may come forward at this time. Please state your name and general location of residence. In order to balance the need and desire for the citizen input with the necessity of disposing the county's board regular business, we ask that you keep your comments to 3 minutes to address the board. To avoid repetitiveness, groups of people that are supporting or opposing the same positions are encouraged to select a spokesperson to speak. Speakers shall be at all times maintain proper decorum. This is an opportunity to address this board, and it is not intended for question and answers. It's just a time for you to be heard, and if answers need to be given, we will contact you at a later time. All right. Anyone like to speak at public comment? I read all that for nothing. All right, very good then. Then we'll move on to item number 4. That's the Child Proclamation of Child Support Awareness Month. And I think our Senior Assistant County Attorney, Ms. Fortner, is here to present. And I have asked Commissioner Pace Davis to read the proclamation when the time's come.
Yes, may I check outside to see if any of the teammates from Child
Absolutely,
Support?
absolutely. Please do.
Any of my Child Support folks out here yet? Oh, well, very good.
We might have
They
gotten
must
to
be
it too
running a
quickly.
bit late, or we're running a bit fast,
That's
but
all right.
I will share with them, and they will be very happy that y'all are addressing our agency.
I'm Deon Fortner, and this is my second year with the Johnston County Attorney's Office. Last year, I was able to address you all, and I'm just so happy to be back. As you know, child support services touches the lives of so many of our residents. As you know, establishing a clear, set, dependable child support obligation promotes stability, trust, and most importantly, plans for the future for the children in our county. Child support services assist all folks in our county to locate non-custodial parents, establish paternity, establish legally enforceable child support orders, medical support responsibilities, manage and disperse child support, and then to enforce unpaid child support orders through court interventions, administrative actions, tax intercepts, license suspensions. We have a lot of things we can do to try to get this money flowing. To accomplish this, our county's office has veteran leadership with its director and supervisors, and this is very unique to our county. We have 13 child support agents, 3 who establish obligations, 8 who enforce them, 2 who handle establishing and enforcing interstate child support cases when a parent is across state lines. The agency is supported by 4 administrative staff members and 2 part-time staffers. And as I said, we're pretty unique because 4 of our agency employees have 30-plus years, and 9 have 15-plus years. I think this is a testament to the work environment and the pure dedication of the employees that have been hired so long ago. To give you a snapshot of what's happened over the last fiscal year, in 2025-2026, Johnston County Child Support averaged 4,874 open cases. We established new child support orders in 319 cases. The agency collected, and this is a big number, $15,465,078.69 in child support. We did that by utilizing 3,509 wage withholding processes and 4,090 contempt actions in court. Perhaps I'm most personally gratified, and I'm trying to give you all a little bit each time I come of new things or things that people may not know about child support. And the Child Support Agency is an agency that is striving to achieve right-sized orders. This isn't just a maximization of a piece of paper that says this is an amount and we get very, very excited, but then it's not collectible. A right-sized order is an attempt to align a realistic child support payment with a family so the expectations can be met and so plans can be made in that family to accommodate a budget that amount of child support will go towards. So this is what we've tried to do. We continue to do that, both in modifications and establishments. And the family in general, both sides of the family, both where the children are living and where they're visiting, have achieved stability through this method. To close, we appreciate this proclamation and support of Johnston County as we continue our mission of facilitating child support. Thank you so much.
Fantastic. Thank you for your work on this. And Commissioner Pace Davis.
Child Support Awareness Month. Whereas children are entitled to financial support from their parents, and whereas children who do not receive adequate financial and emotional support from their parents may experience greater difficulty in becoming happy, healthy, and productive residents. And whereas Johnston County applauds the parents who support their children and make child support payments consistently to care for them. And whereas many concerned and dedicated judges, attorneys, clerks of court, law enforcement personnel, and child support professionals work to establish and enforce child support orders for Johnston County's children, one of our most vital resources. And whereas it is important to increase public awareness of the child support program through outreach and education to reinforce that all parents must take responsibility for the financial, emotional, and physical support of their children. Now, therefore, the Johnston County Board of Commissioners does hereby proclaim August 2026 as Child Support Awareness Month in Johnston County and encourages all citizens to work together to make our children's future stable and bright. Adopted this day of the third day of August 2026, and I ask that be taken in a motion.
All right.
I second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion or comment? Hearing none, all in favor of the proclamation, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The proclamation carries. Thank you. Next item on the agenda is the Finance Department's their implementation of time and attendance solutions software. We have our Deputy Finance Director, Tyson Radford, who's going to come up and present to the board. Good morning, Mr. Radford. How you doing?
Good morning,
Good.
Chairman Harris. Good to see you and the rest of the commission. Good to see you all this morning.
Morning.
The Finance Department is seeking and asking the board for approval to acquire time and attendance software. That software is called UKG Ready, developed by Andrews Technology is the company for that. And there's a number of different reasons in which we are asking for this approval this morning. One is that our departments and employees have a number of different ways in which they report their time and attendance to payroll and to HR. And so we're looking to uniform that across our departments, and it'll be a lot simpler for our payroll folks to be able to handle that. And so that's one of the main reasons that we're doing that. Also, it will give us a real-time numbers as far as the time and attendance, our sick leave, annual leave, those type things will be in real time so employees can know what their time is, their annual leave, those type things, also department heads. And also, it will help us to adhere to personnel policy, not that we're not already doing that, but we can automate that as well within that system. It'll be a beneficial to us as well. So we're looking to be able to have that approval this morning. I have also Ms. Faye Benavidez, who is our payroll supervisor, and Mr. Robin Hartley, a payroll specialist, who've worked a number of hours on this project trying to get this together. So, if you have any questions, they'll be more suited probably to answer it than I will.
All right, fantastic. Any questions for the finance team? All right, hearing none, I entertain a motion.
I'm in favor of doing this, but I hesitate to add that second part of it, just because we've seen and heard a lot in the news lately about proper oversight by elected officials. It's not to cast any doubt that we got great people, and we assume that will always be the case, but I move to approve the request not to exceed $234,861 for this fiscal year.
So, just a clarification on that. So is this, given the request to do annual approvals, or it's just if we got, I'm going to say, how many licenses we have, that we can add 10 more to that? I just want to make sure.
Yes, sir. We would like the flexibility to be able to purchase the appropriate number of licenses that are necessary for the project in that not-to-exceed amount.
Okay, and is it, are you asking to do it on an annual?
Yes, sir.
To just approve it, a blanket today?
Approve it today, and then it would have renewal terms, and you would include that into your budget moving forward if that's the direction of the board.
So I'm not, if I hear what Commissioner Godwin is saying, maybe the adding license in a given year, this year, would be acceptable. When we get to next year, let it bring back to this board for approval or in budget season.
Yes, sir.
No problem. Okay. All right, I'll second
Okay.
this motion.
All right. So we have a modified motion and a second. Any further discussion?
It's not a real big deal, but it just ensures proper oversight for the sake of citizens.
I agree.
I understand. I think that also the not-to-exceed amount that's here, if I'm correct in saying this is the first, and then the renewal will be less than.
Should be less, that's correct.
Okay, okay, all right. So just for clarification, the renewal will come back to the board each year.
As part of your budget, yes, sir.
As part of the budget, okay, all right. Everybody comfortable with that? Any further questions or discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, let me know by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, thank you, Mr. Radford. Appreciate you. All right, we have also from Finance, a resolution declaring official intent to reimburse expenditures for the Johnston County Regional Airport Remote Tower Project, and I think our county manager is going to present on that. Good morning,
Thank you,
Mr.
Mr. Chairman. Good morning,
Thank you.
board members. You may recall there, from time to time, the board may make some appropriations, and that we will request a resolution that at some point in the future, if we include this in a borrowing of funds like the $4.5 million that the board committed to, subject to the federal grant, if we chose to, this will give us the flexibility to choose to add that into a borrowing in the future if we decide to do that. So that's all this does, to give the board flexibility.
This is not inconsistent to what we've done many times before with school
It is
construction.
consistent, yes, sir.
Yeah. All right. Any questions for Mr. Hester? All right, and I'll entertain a motion.
I move we adopt the resolution.
All right.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, thank you,
Thank
sir.
you, thank you.
All right, item number 7 is public utilities, water, and wastewater service request within the town of Wilson Mills interest area. And Ms. Chandra Farmer, our public utilities director, is here with us this morning. Good morning, Ms. Farmer.
Good morning. This is the first parcel that we have had to come before you in accordance with the new interlocal agreement with the town of Wilson Mills. You may recall this agreement was approved a couple of months ago by the board. There's a parcel on Highway 70 that has requested annexation into the town of Wilson Mills. It is considered a satellite annexation. And in accordance with our agreement, it is in an area that is defined as the town's interest area. So because it's not inside of the corporate limits of the town of Wilson Mills or contiguous with those corporate limits, it requires the board to make a determination on utility services for the project. It's a proposed industrial project. Again, like I said, it's on Highway 70 business, 4800 US Highway 70. There's a map on the screen there that identifies that property. There in red to the south is Smithfield, to the north is Clayton, and you can just barely see the top left corner of your screen where West Olive Road is. That's where West Olive Road comes back in and intersects with Highway 70 on that map. But the proposed project inside of that red is a speculative warehouse and distribution facility with approximately 224,000 square feet. Their anticipated water and wastewater demands are relatively low at 3,400 gallons per day. And as far as the water analysis, the parcel would be served by our Little Creek Water District, which does have excess capacity currently available in the capacity that that district maintains. As far as sewer is concerned, we do have available treatment capacity at the wastewater plant that could serve the project. The transmission capacity is a little bit more complicated in the fact that there may be concerns with downstream sufficient capacity. The proposed project, the closest connection point for the project would be to tie in up at East Hampton subdivision. It's Alliance, can't remember if it's Alliance Drive or Alliance Street, but you can see the orange circle on the map. That is the manhole that this project would connect to. So the wastewater would flow into East Hampton. It would flow through East Hampton to a pump station that we're in the process of abandoning, and it will gravity flow back through Olive Branch subdivision. Olive Branch gravities to the south to a pump station on the south side of the property. And you can see I've outlined an area in blue. We believe that is the area that may have transmission capacity restrictions. So if the board approves county to serve this project, the engineer and the developer would be responsible for analyzing that downstream capacity and determining if any upgrades are necessary. If so, it would be the developer's responsibility to implement those upgrades in order for the county to provide service to the project. They would be responsible for any design, construction, anything associated with those upgrades. Also, in accordance with our policies, the developer will be responsible for any downstream reimbursement if there are any of those in place with other developers along their route of transmission. So I'm before you today requesting the board's determination of utility services for water and sewer to the property in accordance with our agreement. One of the items, I will mention this one that we know is part of the consideration, is the county's land use plan. This is in an employment center / neighborhood center in the county's land use plan, and that encourages a blending of commercial, office, and service uses in our land use plan. If the board approves this, well, either way, after 10 days, within the next 10 days, we have to submit a determination letter back to the town of Wilson Mills saying what the board has determined for this project. And I would request your approval for the public utilities and myself to sign that letter to issue that letter of determination as well, based on what you determine. I'll be happy to answer any questions.
All right, any questions for Ms. Farmer?
Ms. Farmer, the water and sewer demand estimated at 3,400 gallons per day. I'm assuming that's largely related to personnel on site rather than processing
Yes,
water?
and for industrial use like this, it's based on the number of bays on the site, and that is how that was calculated.
Okay. All right. Any knowledge about what they're going, it's just going to be speculative? They don't have any actual businesses identified to go in there?
It's my understanding they do not at this time. The application states speculative for now.
Okay, so we allocate so much per bay then to accommodate what may ultimately move in there?
So for construction, in order for them to obtain a building permit, they have to apply for that water and sewer service with the county, and that's when we would commit that capacity for them.
If one of these future tenants comes in and they have a larger demand for utilities than what was originally postulated, how is that handled?
They would have to revise their sewer permit with the county and to determine if we have that downstream capacity available. And once that would be revised, then we would move forward with approving it. But they would have to revise the sewer permit.
Okay, all right.
All bets are off at that point. Have to start again.
All right, any other comments or discussion?
I had a couple questions.
Sure.
Is the property already zoned industrial, or are they waiting to try to get it rezoned after?
I believe that would be a zoning issued with the town of Wilson Mills. Once they're annexed into the town, then they would identify the zoning with the town.
Right.
Mr. Rose, to answer that question, there is a pending application. And so before that application can be considered by the town of Wilson's Mills, the capacity determination needs to be made.
Gotcha. And what is the number we use for residents per day on gallons per day?
For 75 gallons per day per bedroom. That is
Okay.
a state statute,
Okay.
state requirement now.
All right, thank you.
All right, any other questions? Ms. Farmer, any comments, discussion? All right, hearing none, I'll entertain a motion.
Mr. Chair, I move to approve utility services requested for water and sewer service to the proposed project in accordance with the Town of Wilson Mills interlocal agreement and Johnston County ordinances, policies, and plans, and allow the utility director to prepare and sign the written determination on the board's behalf.
Second.
Second.
A motion is second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, let me know by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? All right. Thank you, Ms. Farmer.
Thank you.
All right, item number 8 on the agenda is the Fire Protection Service District update, and our county attorney, Ms. Slusser, is going to provide information. With that, I see we also have our county fire marshal with us and County Emergency Services Director and Deputy Director. Welcome this morning, gentlemen.
Yes, thank you for the opportunity to speak with you this morning about the Johnston County Fire Protection Service District. It's been some time that we talked about the big picture, and so we wanted to take the opportunity this morning to talk with you a little bit about where we started and where we are. And so where we started was on October the 15th, 2024. This board adopted a resolution establishing the Johnston County Fire Protection Service District to fund the full cost of fire protection services delivered on an equitable basis to all residents of this newly created single county fire protection service district. The Johnston County Fire Protection Service District territory includes all of the unincorporated areas of Johnston County and the town of Wilson's Mills. And as we've gone through this process, we just experienced our first opportunity at budget submittals in working with the fire departments and incorporating that into the Johnston County budget as part of those funding resources. And it was a very good process, and I think that we've got areas in which we will improve on that process. And so we're glad that we have gotten that first round behind us. One of the things that we started talking about with some of the towns in the spring of this year was some interest of these towns to possibly be incorporated into the county service district and for their residents to become members of that county service district. And the General Assembly does allow for the extension of territory within a municipal corporate limits into a service district if that is what the municipality requests and determines is in the best interest of the residents of the town. And the county can only add the territory of a corporate limit or a municipality into the service district upon the approval of a resolution by that governing body. So it's completely voluntary. The county can't just go into a municipality and declare that they will be members of the county service district. In having some conversations with some of the towns, there is some interest in having this conversation. No determinations have been made, but we did get a request from the town of Kinley on July the 13th to explore this as an option. We've also gotten an inquiry from the town of Micro to explore this as well. And before we started having any conversations in earnest with these towns, first of all, we wanted to provide you with those two requests from those towns to explore those conversations, and then talk a little bit about what that could potentially look like if you're inclined to do it. And the emergency services team and the fire marshal and I have had some conversations about what that should look like, and we think that first of all, there should be some extension exploration, and with that just means for us to contact these towns that are served by these nonprofit contracted agencies. So this wouldn't include agencies that are town agencies like the town of Clayton and that sort of thing, just nonprofit contracted agencies and towns that were interested. Certainly, we want to provide them the opportunity to have the discussion if they're interested, but if they're not, that's okay. We want this to be their request. And then once we open those conversations in August, we'd like to give a deadline for these municipalities to make a determination as to whether or not they are interested in participating in the service district. And we would ask that those determinations be made by September the 30th of this year. Assuming that we receive any requests, then we would like to update the board about those requests at the beginning of October, and then go through a evaluation process and some initial consideration, and then request that the towns have community meetings in October and November to discuss this possibility with their residents. Depending on how all of that goes, we would ask that you call for a public hearing in December, and then take a little bit of a break between that call for the public hearing and then when we get back to this in January to account for the holidays. And so if the board determines to call for the public hearing, then we would send out the direct mail notices like we're required to do when there's an extension of a service district. We would report to the clerk. And then we would advertise for a public hearing, and that advertisement for a public hearing we're proposing to be in the middle of January of '27. And then if the towns want to participate be included in the district, then they would have to give us a resolution requesting that they wanted to participate not later than February the 10th. And then, assuming that we get those resolutions for inclusion, we'd have a public hearing in the middle of February, and then you would consider those resolutions at the beginning of March. If there were towns that desired to be included, and if you decided that it was in the best interest of the district to include them, then that would be effective on July the 1st of '27 because it runs with the fiscal year. This schedule gives enough time to account for budgeting, number one, and number two, for programming by the tax office if any changes were to be made. But that's really what this is about, and I think more than anything, before staff got ahead of their skis, so to speak, and having conversations with the town, we wanted to let the board know about these requests from the town of Kinley and the interest from the town of Micro, and then start having conversations with the eligible towns to see if there's any interest in pursuing this any further. And of course, the experts are here and happy to answer any questions that I can't answer. But thank you for the opportunity to present.
I have a question, Mr. Chairman.
Yes, sir.
Those affected fire departments, for example, Kinley and Micro, and perhaps others, they would approach their budget process just like any other rural fire department now, is that right? Within the
Yes, sir.
district?
There would be no difference. If anything, and speaking for the town of Kinley, it may be a little bit easier because as opposed to having two contracts for fire service, they have one.
Right.
But the process for the fire department would be essentially the same. And there would be absolutely no changes in who the service providers are for these towns. All of that would remain the same. The issue is how is it funded?
Right.
And certainly, and one of the questions that came up earlier is that if these towns choose to include their territorial boundaries within the fire service district, that would be the county fire service district tax that would be imposed upon those citizens. So I do want to be very clear about that.
Right.
There has been conversation with the town of Kinley that there would be rate reduction that would be associated with all of that. But assuming that the board is inclined for us to continue these conversations, those are the kinds of things that we'll be talking about in that very first phase of conversation, and making sure that the public is educated and understands what this would look like and how it would affect them moving forward.
Any other questions or comments from Ms. Slusser?
Just to clarify, Ms. Slusher, you said there would be a rate reduction under this scenario if one of these departments, or whichever departments they are in this particular case in Kinley, wanted to join into this process, then it's going to be less than what they're currently doing for their individual fire tax?
So the town of Kinley, to the best of my knowledge, does not have a separate fire tax. They pay for fire services out of their ad valorem. And I don't want to stand here and say what that would look like because we've not had that conversation yet. But there has been discussion that there would be some rate reduction. Now, of course, if that were to occur, that can't be enforceable by this board. It could only be enforceable by the town board. The town board would have to make those determinations as to what rates would be imposed and those sorts of things. But the amount of money that is allocated out of the ad valorem for the town of Kinley for fire service would either be reduced or reallocated to other public services that are required by the town.
Okay, that clarification is very helpful.
Yes, sir.
Any other questions or comments?
No, I was just going to say to kind of add on to that, probably make it more confusing, is we know what the rate is now, the 11.5
Yes, sir.
cents, so we know that's what would be applied if they were in, unless we changed it next July. And we would hope that the towns would make a similar adjustment to their tax rate, but that will be the town's decision because they know their finances much better than we do.
And of course, they hold public hearings in their respective towns to get input from citizens, but where the rub's going to come is where in their budget, they may not have allocated, they didn't have a fire tax, but the amount they, in their budget, allocated for fire service may be a lot less than what this fire district tax is.
Well, and to add to that, when we think about the various areas of the county, a penny in one municipality looks different than a penny in a different municipality from a value perspective. And I think that's where there's some interest in having conversations on the town's part because they want to have fully funded fire services as well, and they want to make sure that they can do it in a way that's affordable. And so that's why we're willing to have these conversations if you so allow us to do that, just to explore what that would look like. And there's no commitment on the part of the town or on the part of the county to do this. This is just to start having the conversation and start getting some public engagement and getting some feedback and figuring out what looks best for the provision of fire services for our citizens.
And I think just to clarify, this is something that is being driven by those municipalities. The county has not approached them and said, we want to do this. This is something they have approached the county about. And it's, what we're deciding today is merely to open the conversation with them to see what that would look like. And then further decisions would be made down the road.
Yes, sir. And that would be just for those towns that have the contracted nonprofit fire departments, not ones that are a municipal department.
And I just wanted to add too, like if you're a citizen in one of these municipalities, and let's just say for easy math, your tax is 60 cents right now. if the town is already allocating 11.5 cents to fire, then they could potentially drop their rate to 48.5, and your amount that you'd be paying in would be the exact same, because the 11.5 plus the 48.5 would equal the 60 that it is now.
Yes.
But if that municipality is allocating only 9 cents, then they would either have to see a slight tax increase to match that 11.5, or the town could drop their rate somewhat. But anyway, what Chairman Harris said is exactly right, that the municipalities are driving this, and I just wanted to clarify, if you're living in one of those municipalities, that this does not necessarily mean any kind of tax increase.
Not necessarily, but I also don't want to take away the potential
Right.
that there could be an increase. And those are the kinds of conversations that we would have. And, I don't think that the goal of any of the respective boards is to have a tax increase on their citizens. I think that the main driver and the main goal is to figure out how to equitably fund the fire department, so when the citizen picks up the phone and calls 911, they get a response, and they get a response that's timely and effective.
Okay.
That's right.
Any other questions or comments? I think all we need is just a general consensus that you can proceed
Yes, sir.
with the, all right?
Yes, sir.
Everybody good with that?
Yes.
All right, thank you, man.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you. All right, item number 9 is appointments. We have ballots and commissioner seats for the Hospital Authority Board of Commissioners, the Library Board of Trustees, and the Veterans Services Advisory Board appointments. The Hospital Authority has 3 positions, and there's 4 applicants for consideration. The Library Board of Trustees has 1 position with 3 applicants for consideration, and the Veterans Services Advisory Board has 1 position representing District 7 with 2 applicants for consideration. So as commissioners will complete their ballots, and they will be picked up by the clerk or deputy clerk, and then we will announce the results of those at the evening meeting. All right, item number 10 is delinquent tax collection report, and our tax administrator and deputy county manager, Jocelyn Andrews, is coming to present that. Good morning.
Mr. Chairman and Commissioners. Before you, you have 2 items. I believe it's number 10 and 11 on the agenda. That is correct. So number 10 is the delinquent collection report. That is for the month of June, and that is the last month in the fiscal year. So I'm not going to spend much time on that. I'm going to just jump to the next thing, which is number 11, which is the annual settlement. And basically what that is I'm required by law to give y'all a wrap-up of the year to show you what the levy was, how it increased, how it decreased throughout the year, what we ended up as far as collection goes. For the fiscal year 25-26, our collection rate was 99.73%. I am thrilled with that rate for many reasons, and one of them being, and we don't talk about this too much, but in our collection staff over the last fiscal year, we had retirements of 3 of our 4 most senior people. It brought a challenge to the table, but we were thankful in our hiring process that we have been able to fill those positions. And one of those folks that I wanted to bring with me today, and she's here, she's just come in, Ms. Amber Straley is here. She is our new collections manager. She came in last fall. She was shadowing the position for a while and has hit the ground running, and she and her staff have done an excellent job in getting to that 99.73%. As we know, it takes 3 parts basically to make a successful collection year. One of them is property owners, the citizens who take it seriously and pay their taxes. The second is the support of this board and staff who ensure that we have the staff and the tools and everything we need to actually collect the taxes, and then a hardworking staff. These 3 things came together this year, and we're very thankful that it helped to make for a successful year. But today we also kick off the next year. So today, we are scheduled to mail the 2026 tax bills. They should be in the mail today if all goes well in Mount Airy. We know that they've had some issues up there in that area of the state over the weekend, so I put a caveat with that and hope that all is well, that they are going out today. Bill information, however, for the 2026 tax year is available online, and we are beginning to receive payments. I shouldn't say beginning, because it was almost the day they hit, we started having people paying their bills. It kind of surprised some of the staff that they were seeing how much was being paid, how quickly. But that, again, goes back to the citizens doing what they feel like they need to do, what they know is part of their responsibility, and we're, again, thankful for that. We remind property owners that there are various ways that they can pay. They can pay by mail. They can come in the office and pay. They can pay online or pay by phone. And in all of those ways, they can pay partial or in full. We know that there are a number of property owners and citizens in this county that are on fixed incomes, and they can pay as they can. We encourage everybody to pay timely, and the last day to pay timely is January the 5th of '27, so there is time. It talks about it on the back of the paper bill, that there, you can turn that form in and you can set up payments, or you could, quite frankly, just mail us a check. Or you could go online and pay as you can, just to try to make it a little easier throughout the year. So again, we encourage everybody to do it the way they can. At this point, I ask two things of you. I ask that you accept the settlement for the 25-26 fiscal year, and I ask that you ordered me to collect the 2026 taxes.
All right, any questions for Ms. Andrews?
I have one question.
Yes, sir.
In your categories here, you've got several things listed. Give an example of releases.
Releases? Okay, so in other words, if we have a situation where somebody came to us and say, I'll give an example of, well, we have them a lot every month, and y'all end up approving some of this in consent agenda.
Right.
But like somebody has a car, and like that is a situation, and that's not, this right here that you have in front of you is real and personal property, but the car's the easiest one. Those are valued in Raleigh, and whenever the individual gets their, what is called an invitation to renew, whenever they get that and they don't agree with the value of it, they can reach out to us and appeal the value, and we can adjust it. Now, we're still dealing with some appeals through the 2025 reval process. There are some appeals that are still in Raleigh, and then we also had appeals for the 2026 year that we are now billing on. Folks that appealed, if we had already billed the 25 year and then we ended up, we had a resolution through the property tax commissioner through the formal appeal process, and that got released, that would be a release value.
Okay.
All right, any other questions?
Not a question, but after the vote, will you also go through those that are getting ready to receive their bills? For instance, I'd messaged you last week. Could you go through the
Property tax relief?
thank you,
Yes.
the property tax relief programs? That's what I was
Yes,
trying
be
to say,
glad
that
to.
we have for when we, yeah.
Be
Thank you.
glad to.
All right, any other questions or comments? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I move to accept the tax settlement for 2025 and adopt the, is that right?
That is
2025?
correct.
Yep.
And adopt the order to collect taxes for 2026.
All right.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, let it be known by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Thank you, ma'am. We
Two
appreciate
parts that I need to clean up. It is confusing, the difference in the fiscal
Yeah.
year and the tax year, because the tax year 2026 started January 1st of 2026, but yet it's the fiscal
Yeah.
year 26, 27. So
Right.
yes, we just put a bow on the, or y'all just put a bow on the 25 tax year,
Right.
and now we start the 26 year, so that takes care of that. So regarding property tax relief, going back to what I just said, the tax year starts January 1st of each year. That is also a signal. That's usually about the time we send out our listing forms. They're usually late December. We send out listing forms, and we tell people to use that as a reminder that if they have not applied for property tax relief and been approved in the past, that is a great time for them to submit an application, reach out to our office, and we will walk them through the process. But there are several ways. We had our distinguished veterans in here today. If you are a 100% disabled veteran, you can work through the Veterans Office and then come to our office, and there is a relief on the amount that we will bill for property tax on that. For others, if you are 100% disabled, not military, but 100% disabled, or if you're 65 or older and have income of certain amounts, the amount for the 2026 year, which that has closed, and I'll get to that in a second, that amount was $38,800. If your income from all sources was less than that, then you could have applied. If you were 65 and older, you were a resident of Johnston County, and owned your primary residence as of January 1st of the year, again, that magical date that kicks off the tax year, then if you had applied with us, you submit all that, we notify you. And what that does for the disabled and the elderly, and I hate to use elderly with age 65 because that doesn't sound too old anymore, but anyway, for that qualification, what it does is it reduces the amount that we will tax the property by 50%. So in other words, if it's a $300,000 primary residence, we will only tax $150,000. The value of it is still $300,000, but we tax half of that. Now, the deadline has already passed for this year. What they do, is, and this is statutory, is every year it is January 1st through June 1st. And the reason for that June 1st deadline is we have to give numbers to you as the commissioners as you're trying to plan the budget for the year. And we have to be able to get everything ready for billing. So that's why the state has cut off everything. And this is all 100 counties. This is not just Johnston County, but all 100 counties. That is the deadline is June 1st for that. So we don't know right now. The DOR has not advertised what the 27 income amount will be. It does generally increase a little bit each month, or not each month, but each year. So we have not done that, but that amount and the application will be available on our website around December 1st. So again, I encourage citizens to either look at our website or to reach out to staff. Staff is more than happy to walk individuals through, help them, fill out the form if they don't understand it, and kind of walk them through that process. But that is available to all citizens that fit in that category.
And all those limits are set by the legislature, not us.
Those amounts are set, the framework for all the programs are set by the legislature, and then DOR or Department of Revenue has a system whereby they determine based on cost of living and things as to what that amount is each year, and that's what changes each year.
And each county can't make up their own relief measures?
No, they cannot. They cannot. It is statewide, it's supposed to be consistent.
Thank you.
All right, any other questions or comments for Ms. Andrews? Thank you, ma'am.
Thank
Very
you.
much.
Did we vote on that?
Yeah,
We did. Okay.
Yeah, she was just making the
Okay,
comment.
Yeah, we
good,
did.
good, gotcha.
and then she came back and made
Make
it.
sure I didn't miss anything there. All right, item number 12 is manager reports and comments.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I don't have anything this morning.
Okay, then we'll move on to board reports and comments, and I'm gonna start with Commissioner Pace Davis.
Yeah, I just got a alert that the Johnston County softball team is in the World Series today. And it was supposed to have been last night, but it got rained out, so it got pushed up into this morning. And they are up on the first round over Canada. So that is very exciting news. They had a great send-off on Friday. I think it was Friday or Monday. They had a great send-off. But yeah, very exciting that Johnston County is in the World Series. Just so cool. And it's really cool that it's hosted here in Greenville, North Carolina. So it's really neat that North Carolina is on the map, and then that Johnston County is on the map for this really cool opportunity. Really neat. Very proud of the girls.
Very good, absolutely. All right. Commissioner Stovall, and I might mention celebrating his birthday today. So
Yeah.
you see him on the street, wish him happy birthday.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Yesterday, I had the privilege of attending the ribbon cutting and dedication of the new Wilson Mills High School off Towton Farm Road. And very well attended event. A lot of people there that were glad to see the resurgence of the Green Waves, which is the mascot for the Wilson Mills High School. The event was officiated by Principal Chad Jewett. Did an excellent job. Dr. Cheryl Stevens, the oldest living alumni of the Wilson Mills High School, class of 43, offered the prayer. And as you recall, Dr. Stevens was the first recipient of the Cypress Legacy Award that we honored him at our last meeting. But excellent event, very nice facility. I'm sure they're going to enjoy it. I think it's a little over 280-some thousand square feet. They said it would accommodate at least 2,300 students. A lot of potential there for the years to come. I must say that I was very impressed by it. It has a lot of features that go well beyond what I was used to when I was in high school, which has been a few years back. But I think the community there has strong support. There were a lot of parents there, and they said they're looking forward to their children being able to attend high school at that facility.
All right, very good.
Thank you.
Commissioner Godwin?
I was at that ribbon cutting as well, and while the new principal, Chad Jewett, was talking about this is the 50th school in our county now, public school, 50. I did some quick math. When I was a senior at North Johnston, the second year, I think we had 19 schools in the county. And now my two grandsons are playing football at North Johnston, and we travel to Kinston and Washington. Looks like we could have a conference right here in the county. That's all I got, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Chairman, if I could add.
Yes, sir.
Principal Jewett also said he gets frequently asked, so what did the name Green Waves come from? He said originally, when the original schools that were surrounded by agricultural fields that had crops in it that would wave in the wind. And that's where the green wave came from. Because we're not seeing a whole lot of green waves in this county with the development going on, but there's still some out there.
All right, very good, sir. Commissioner Stevens?
Yes, 2 weeks ago, we had the incredible honor of the groundbreaking of the new regional park located in the Cleveland area off of Matthews Road, and it was just so great to see so many people come out, including the original landowners, the group that had initially put that together, obviously our Parks and Recs group, and then just see other citizens that are very excited to see the first phase of that come to fruition. So there's pickleball, basketball, and soon to be fishing. And it was just, like I said, great to see such a wonderful turnout. And then also had the opportunity to meet with some of our seniors, some leaders in the senior community in the Cleveland and McGee's area. And that was one of the reasons I wanted to ask Ms. Jocelyn, as we were talking through all the resources that Johnston County does have for our senior services. It's still amazing to me how we're doing all we can to reach out and make sure that we're meeting people where they are, and to hear, some very educated seniors still not know that we have those tax savings programs. I just wanted to make sure that we are continuing to reiterate that. So anyone who is a senior, knows someone who's a senior, knows to reach out to our tax office. It's on the back of the bill when it comes, but as we know, there's a lot of information there. So just want to constantly point out, and we're really trying to improve the opportunities, the programs, and the resources that we have for all of our seniors.
All right, very good. Thank you. Commissioner Rose?
Well, it has been an exciting couple of weeks between the ribbon cutting at the park and at the Wilson Mills High School. I won't repeat what Commissioner Stevens and Commissioner Stovall just said, but I did get a message this morning from Tucker Twisdale. She was one of the Uzzle families that was represented yesterday, and I think their parents were the last principal. Her dad was the last principal, I believe it was, and the library was named after them. But she was not only a teacher of mine at Princeton, but then as I was a teacher later on after college, we were partners in the business department, and we talked together. So it was great to see her yesterday, and she sent a message this morning that she wanted me to share with everyone, so I thought that this would be appropriate time. It said, "Our family is deeply appreciative of your efforts to make yesterday so special for us as a family, and just as inspiring as an alumni of Wilson Mills High School and of the Wilson Mills High School now." And she would appreciate relating this to all the commissioners.
Very good. All right, thank you, sir. Vice Chairman Lawler?
A couple of things. I do want to build on what Commissioner Stevens had talked about with the senior services. I know it's exciting times there, and as we look forward to that population growing, which I'm a part of there, I think that's and I mentioned this last week too, we've got two services that probably when they started were a little bit different than what we need today, and that's the senior services and also our transportation services. And I would just ask this board to consider us taking a hard look at what is the best way for us to deliver the premier senior and transportation services that we can deliver to our citizens, and just take a look at that over the next year and see what we need to do with that. We may be doing the best there is to do, but I'd like to know that and be able to move forward with the best plan to deliver both those services.
Very good. Thank you, sir. A lot of good things happening. As I was walking around Wilson Mills High School, I was looking at the building and of course we just opened the Swift Creek Elementary School not long ago, and Clayton High School is well under construction thanks to the citizens of the county. But when I look at that building, I think this is an investment in the future generations of this county. This is an opportunity for our children to go in and discover who they want to become and what they want to do in life. And so what a great celebration it was yesterday to do that. I also had opportunity, and I didn't get to mention it last month because of our schedule change for July 4th, but I attended the Liberty Tree dedication ceremony for the 250th anniversary, and it was held on Johnston Community College campus, the Advanced Manufacturing Training Center in 4 Oaks, where they planted a tree. And we have a official watering can that was presented to the Board of Commissioners, although they did ask that we take turns going by watering the tree using the can. Not kidding with that. But I thought that was really a nice gesture, and this was actually used to help water the tree when they planted it. It was really a cool event, and had a lot of people from the Camp Flintlock folks, the 4 Oaks Chamber Foundation. Anyway, a lot of people involved in that. It was really a nice event as well. Including the park opening in the first regional park, beginning with phase 1. There's a lot of good things happening in Johnston County. We're just proud of the citizens and the people who come out and participate in all these things, and we're thankful for those opportunities as well. That being said, there is a need for a closed session, and we also will be attending a lunch with Soil and Water Conservation today at the Johnston County Agricultural Center following that closed session. So this time I entertain.
Mr. Chairman, I move that the board go into closed session for the following purposes: of consulting with an attorney employed by the board in order to preserve the attorney-client privilege pursuant to North Carolina General Statute 143-318.11A3, to establish or instruct staff concerning the negotiation of the price and terms of a contract concerning the acquisition of real property pursuant to North Carolina General Statute 143-318.11A5, and for the purposes of personnel pursuant to North Carolina General Statute 143-318.116.
All right. Have a motion. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, let me know by saying aye.
Aye.
The board will go into closed session once we have an opportunity to clear the room. Thank you.